At the back of the paddock, and we'll set them out like this, ready to go for the second race. And it's going to be Northcote off the front row with Lickett Prouting, and Tony Vandal is carrying one of our onboards. How good's the name? Nick Lowndes. Great to see the name Nick Lowndes out on the grid. And also watch out for Christina Orr West, who picked up the pole award yesterday and unfortunately got caught up in an incident, got pushed down the pack. Alex Sherry had some work to do to that. They had heavy front contact. We saw an incident turn 8 in race 1 where he ran up the back of someone who was stopped, accidentally hit the kill switch. That'll do it. And poor Alex had nowhere to go. And Todd Progene dropped everything that he was doing to help Alex get that ute back to the grid. So hopefully he's made it out there and he's ready to go. Good camaraderie in the Sangyongs.
And that adjustment that he made turned his Ssangyong into more like a brick than anything else. It had a very flat front on it.
Not too aerodynamic friendly at all. So that leaves us with Lance Northcote and Prouting on the front row together. Lincoln on the outside of row number 1, waiting on a green flag. Good crowd as always, and still building ahead of the supercars action. Oh, we're gonna have a really, really frantic start here with that jump as they all go 3 wide in the mid-pack. No grip on the grass.
Although Mallard was trying on the outside.
Yeah.
Looked like he had the left hand 2 tyres just touching the grass.
So top 10 reverse grid. Should lead to plenty of entertainment, particularly with Christina Orr West buried in this pack from her early demise in race 1. We go on board. That's a good start from Lincoln Prouting.
There's Mallard on the outside. Fluoro gloves make it very easy for us to see the wheel work that's going on. 3 wide, 4 wide on the approach to turn 5 in the braking zone. Hang on to your hats.
This is awesome. And it can get a little bit wild here at the exit of 7 as well if we end up on the grass and on the curbs. Bit of a twitch, but we're still good. Still side by side up to the hairpin.
I felt like it was almost inevitable there, Chad, that we were going to have somebody go around when it's that busy. And we love these reverse grid of some description races. And when you invert the top 10 or swap them around, then you have this really awkward change of speed between the guys that are at the bottom of the 10 and the guys that are at the top of the 10. And you get this weird crossover period, and we're already getting to see it here. Anything can happen.
Got some body panels flapping around on the back of the Northcote car. That tailgate's taken a bit of a push. Oh, the block from Prougie. And there it goes, actually, that bumper off the back, so it's not flapping anymore.
And better to have it not flapping, because when it was flapping around like that, in a category that is 1 make, low horsepower, you might as well hang a parachute out the back to slow you down. So with that little piece departed, that has worked in his favour.
See, that Avis drone cam, it has been on point so far today. That was an awesome shot, watching him swing around turns 2, 3 and 4, and then chasing them down the back straight, looking high above the circuit. Amazing pictures. Turn 5, here we go. Jump on that brake pedal. Guys who had to drop back to the back of the top 10, struggling to pass cars early.
So the 2 teammates have found each other again. Mallard in the white car, Watson there in the black number 3. Watson was the race winner earlier today, but encountered that penalty for making contact with Christina Orr West.
Yeah, that dropped him right back down to 16th.
So he's making his way forward, likewise for Orr West. And even though it's a reverse top 10, those guys are already buried and they're making their way through with the other fast guys. Watson, so much speed. He's now just onto the back of Orr West.
I think Northcote's got a problem too. Started on the front row and has been tumbling down the order, and is now outside the top 10, back to 14th. So clearly an issue with the Northcote Ssangyong. They're cool to watch up in the curbs, aren't they? Climbing all over them. Relatively exciting start as well. Nick Lowndes is slotted in behind Lincoln Prouting. A few very keen to try and get to the top. So Lowndes was outside row 2, managed to find his way to 2nd from that spot. That's pretty handy.
Very handy.
Essentially 2nd race ever. What's in a name, hey?
And this is a great shot because it gives that driver's view. We're about their eye line, and you can see, or not see, the apex up ahead.
Yeah.
So how cool is this when you're running 2x2, 2x2, and then you just need to know and operate off feel, and you can hear the throttle there of All West. She's just, boop, boop. Am I on the throttle? Am I not? Just feathering it, trying to keep some momentum, making sure she's not making contact, but will always be ready to pounce if there's an opportunity to gain a spot. Very cool.
Good action here. Side by side, Brooke trying to find a way through on Whitley. I think that is on the inside, and further back, Christine All West on the outside. Watson on the inside, take two. Now it's the other way around. The shoe is on the other foot. Christine All West on the outside of Watson. And Mallard in this fight as well. It's the same three protagonists from race one. No one's been able to get around the outside like Watson, though.
Watson is so brave into turn one. He looked like he braked about 5 metres later than All West and Mallard and just chucked the car in. There was also a hand gesture, Chad, when they came up out of the last corner. Was that Watson saying to Mallard, give me a push, give me a push?
Well, they've been working together all weekend. In qualifying, they were bump drafting each other, pushing each other down the road. There's a bit on here. These two are side by side from the last corner through the first corner. Whitley with the fast hands. Teammate Jason Bright, Australia.
Great
winner of the first ever, winner of the first ever JR Trophy. Wanted to slip that in. It is that weekend that we get to remember Jason Richards. And now they've been caught here.
So this 2x2 battle will all of a sudden turn a little bit chaotic as the fast guys come back through. On board now with All West.
Oh, that's not the spot to be sticking your nose. Christina did a good job to get out of that.
I hesitated because I felt like there was going to be pretty bad contact. I shouldn't, because so far this weekend we've seen such great shots of how close all the drivers in this category race. Now, this is an opportunity for Christina to dive down the inside of Watson. We know he's strong around the outside, and this is where some real racecraft comes into play. You've got to have your eyes up, you've got to be looking forward, working out where you're going to place your car before you get there. Such great presence of mind from all parties in that little battle.
Long train of Sangyongs running along the train line down this backstretch. Prouting leading. Lowndes still second. The other Lowndes, Craig, never won a race here.
Really?
Never won a race outside of Australia.
That's an interesting stat.
Was leading famously a few years ago when he had the big puncture on the front straight. The one that got away. Turn 8. And it's a bit of a traffic jam up there.
Big shout out to Craig Lowndes. He'll be following the Ssangyong series and listens to our commentary.
Hopefully he's kicking Nick along here.
He's now down in the fetal position somewhere going, thanks Chad for bringing that up.
I'm sure I don't need to remind him of that stat. How good's this for an onboard shot? The ladies, Alexandra and Christina. Good racing.
That's the bounce they all get up coming up out of that final corner, and a little bit of light contact there. You could see it as the onboard camera was panning around, or is that some tape flinging around? The upside to the battle that those two are having is both cars are black and yellow, so it doesn't matter if they're swapping a little bit of paint, it works.
How good's the Saving the Wild initiative as well? It's on the outside on the 51. Tom Vanderloo's another one with our onboard cameras this weekend. And good initiative from Ssangyong, donating with every sale of a Ssangyong here in New Zealand to that foundation. And that was what happened down there at turn 8 to set up that little battle pack.
And that's that racecraft element that I was talking about before. Watson feels now like he's getting very impatient. He has pace, we know that. He was able to move forward a bit, and he just wrong-footed himself, I guess, was on the outside, and that allowed All West to get that spot back that he worked so hard to take away from her, and it's just some of the coolness that is a byproduct of a reverse top 10, top 15 grid race.
Busy in the mirrors. Vanderloo's just checking to see if he was clear. Whip past the Shelby Power speed cam. Onto this front straight. Call it a straight, it's more a front stretch. No time to have a rest around this circuit, maybe for a second down the back straight.
Interesting steering wheel grip that All West has.
Call that 2 and 7?
Yeah, it's normally we see 3 and 9 as a traditional, maybe sometimes 2 and 10 if people get a bit higher, but every time we go on board, that left hand is a little bit lower than normal, and why I find it interesting is that normally that 9 and 3 position on the steering wheel gives you a reference to where your front tyres are on the road. So when you move your hands, you sort of feel like you're connected to what the front of the car is doing. And so for her to have her hand down like that, I'm intrigued as to what that gives her as a reference.
And she doesn't cross her hands over too much as well. Likes to feed the steering wheel through.
Well, that's the Frank Gardner push-pull method from the
good way to pass
80s.
the driving test. A little bit of a crisscross there, but very, very calm. Mark Martin, nearly found third there. Mark Martin used to have a really strange steering position. In NASCAR, it was like 11 and 7, both on the left-hand side of the wheel. Vanderloo's dropping back through the pack here. Our 2 onboard carrying cars. Oh, there's that mission. It doesn't like going out of third gear, does it?
No, we've seen that happen a couple of times, and a long throw on that stick. Look how high the leverage is. So, to me, there's no issue with leverage to get that in. Little replay of an incident down at turn 5. It suggests that possibly, if it's a dog box at the ring, the dogs in the gearbox have rounded off on the edges and it's not going in very nicely. They'll be able to tune that up.
Oh, Lounsey was crooked sideways. I feel like I should call him Lounsey.
And you should.
Nick Lowndes in the scholarship driver entry.
It's like having a last name Jones and not being called Jonesy.
Lowndes is vulnerable here. He was slow out of turn 4 and they'll gang up on him. He might lose just the one spot. Stoneman and Progine motoring by.
And you're responsible for that.
Maybe.
As soon as you started talking about talking him up.
He's doing very well on the scholarship drive this weekend. Maybe go the long way at 5.
Yeah.
Go on. Yes. Stuck it out.
The inside, but now it needs some racing room. Forcing the issue.
If you don't give it at 6, you might get it back at 8. Last lap. Couple corners to go. 3 turning and 1 burning for Stoneman. Gets the job done to second.
Needed to push on Stoneman, didn't he? Needed to be deep into the hairpin. And that's hurt Lowndes.
Drag Todd Progine with him. And that will be likely how they finish. Maybe Progine might be able to get one more spot on Stoneman, but further up, Lincoln Prouting picking up the reverse grid win. The fight for second will go all the way to the line, but nicely done. Held his nerve off that front row starting position. Outside road number 1, all the way to the checkered flag. Christina West flying up the field, passing a bunch of cars to 7th. Remember, she's had to fight her way back to 15th and has had no help with the reverse grid scenario there either. If anything, it just put the fast guys in front of her.
Yeah, and she was able to hold Watson off as well. They were locked in that battle for quite some time. Right. So she's doing a brilliant job this weekend, given the setback that she had in today's earlier race 1, as we see the Ssangyong Utes file off to the left on the exit of turn 2.
Oh, that was another entertaining race. They're 2 from 2 this weekend, and they finished like this. Lincoln Prouting getting the race win. And a nice job from Nick Lowndes on debut this weekend in that scholarship drive. Christina West doing a really good job to climb a bunch of positions. Alexandra Whitley, a regular in this championship, originally from Toowoomba. Plenty of good race drivers from Toowoomba. All the way across the page. Mark Mallard's got a fast car this weekend, but couldn't quite get the spots. Alex Sherry with the damage to that car. Recently married, Alex Sherry, so well done. A few months back now. And replays and highlights of what was an entertaining race too.
Very action-packed right from the outside, with Mallard trying to turn into turn 1 with the left-hand side of the car on the grass, and that continued for the whole lap. This very fast run up through the final corner. Love that curb shot.
So much respect shown between drivers, and you need it when you're running around a track like Pukekohe where the penalties are high. And a bit of a rub, but quick hands from Alexandra Whitley to catch that one.
And it wasn't the only rubbing between these two. This went on for quite some time with neither party being pushed off the road.
That was a sweet move from Christina West. She read the tea leaves nicely. Turn 8 to pick up a couple spots. Sliding, if you like sliding, you'll love this series. They throw it around down there at turn 1. That's the 27 of Farad Montfair. Slipping off again further back in the pack. Fighting back there with Timmy Dossett. And then at the checkered flag, it was Lincoln Prouting from the front row to the checkered flag as they scrapped and scrapped for every spot behind him. Well done as he picks up race win number 2 of the Ssangyong Rhino Racing Series.